Hello everybody, after work here we have quite the presentation right downtown Toronto. First Nations Women's Group Stop the Scoop. It's taking children with the Native Social Services here in Toronto. We got a whole bunch of women speakers. Tina Maravich is going to go up next. I'm going to meet the organizer after, and I'm going to show them how to sue Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II for $3 right here in Ottawa. None other than AKA Doug Ford, Deputy Attorney General for the province of Ontario. This is all attached again, ladies and gentlemen, to Lieutenant Governor up to Governor General, which is to Prime Minister. But I'm going to show these people for $3 how to get what they want. They want the records that the government uses, just like residential schools, to know what the families are to go seize the kids. And it's going on. But I'll let you guys all watch. I won't keep it from you. And we'll see if I get to speak with her after. But I'm going to go back now and we're going to watch the presentation and you'll see Tina come on. Okay, thanks everybody.
We have a lot of youth in our community who are aging out. I worry about them because there's some who are staying in hotels. And we know from the Tina Fontaine tragedy, brutal murder in Winnipeg. She was in the foster removal system. She was targeted by a non-native man, and she was found by the Red River in a bag. Our girls and our women are targets. Even here in Toronto, there's people that lure them and put them into the sex industry. And this agency over the pandemic got a lot of money from Indigenous services, and I don't see any of it going into our community. I feel as though they dictate us, like we're infantile, childlike, like we can't make our own decisions for ourselves. But yet, they want to go to the media and talk about trauma-informed mental health crisis responses that they co-opted when our community and the Black community and allies came together and were actually right in front of Toronto Police Headquarters after the death of Regis Paquette. And this executive director got interviewed by Ben Mulrooney's son and was talking about defunded dollars. We did not hit the streets for this kidnapping agency to get the defunded dollars of the Toronto Police to further perpetuate targeting and violence in our homes and in our communities. No one in my community is going to tell this agency when they're going through a mental health crisis or a breakdown, especially now with the ongoing discoveries of unmarked burial sites throughout our country.
Doug Ford's absolutely in charge.
The crisis lines are at an all-time high in terms of people calling in for support.
I will prove it when I sue the Queen with these ladies.
Society, which is located in Kamloops. The Hope for Wellness line. These are all lines to help all of us, but in particular Native peoples, but from speaking with them, Indigenous people are calling us well. This is heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking to see that it took
Native Family Services in Ontario is all run by the province. I even have the Deputy Minister attached. It's Doug Ford currently. He's the elected Premier.
Because the Truth and Reconciliation Commission had a lot of testimony.
Now we'll prove it when I sue the Queen with these ladies for $3, and then you'll all see who comes to answer the call. It'll be Doug Ford's ministry.
And Canada didn't believe them. And we called upon Canada to release the records. I know they have the records, and then they want to place blame everywhere else. This is what they're good at. But now on the international stage, countries are saying, such as China and Syria and etc. at the UN level, talk to us about human rights. Look how you treat Native people. Look how you treated Native people during residential school. 60 scoop? 60 scoop. How is it that the Catholic Children's Aid Society of Toronto is still stealing Native children who currently have Native
Because they're
children
doing
in
it
their
through the
custody?
province.
Their director of operations got rid of the one woman that had a heart and was working with families, and her whole job was to support 60 scoop survivors and families. And let's not forget that her role was also to facilitate Native children in Catholic Children's Aid Society of Toronto's care and custody to come here. So we already have this agency that has children and youth that are languishing in hotels, group homes, foster system, and then there's a lineup in partnership with Catholic Children's Aid, and who knows, maybe Jewish Children's Services, maybe Children's Aid Society of Toronto too. Maybe they have Native children. What are the numbers? How many Native, Inuit, and Métis children does this agency currently have? How many have you stolen? How many have you stolen? How many have died? And how many will go home? All of them. So make it happen. Get up your salaries. Get up your benefits. The executive director gets a $200,000 salary. He makes more than the mayor of Toronto. This is big business here. This is the child welfare industry.
Zero regional
And it
constitution,
only
zero
stops
accountability.
when we call to action to defund child welfare system. So we must push them.
Make sure to introduce him to after we're done.
Hi Tina, if you'd like to come up, one of our guest speakers here.
Tina Marovich, everybody.
Ani, Nijida, how are you doing today? My name is Tina Marovich. I come with a message of hope. People don't understand the way this country works, and I'm here to tell you how it's designed and what had happened back in 1945, 1952. Our government, after the World War II ended, that war, 1 and 2, were both fought because of colonialism. We understand that our government today runs on a colonialism system with kings and queens. When we look at our own reserves, the people who are in charge are the kings and queens, the chief and council. When we look at our own system, the government system, in 1952, after the colonialism, they fought those wars. King George VI was supposed to go to all of his 86, the 86 countries that they had and end the colonialism. But unfortunately, he was unable to finish off with Canada because he died. And then Queen Elizabeth II was ascended. That's when the British monarchy stepped out of our system here in Canada. And the government at the time, whether it was both of them together actually, the Liberal government and the Conservative government both decided that they weren't going to change the colonial system because King George II didn't finish the job. So what they did was they picked up that crown and they put it on their head. So now we have Canada and we have the crown. When they did that, they broke our lands into provincial crown lands and federal crown lands. So because they have that crown, that's their lands, they're able to profit from the rest of Canada on our lands. What do we get? We get 8%. We get 8%. The rest of Canada gets what? The rest 7.5.
they pay. That's the amount of money that we get from the government. The rest of it, they pocket. They make large monies off of our land. And when we talk about this agency here today, I'm going to tell you back in 2004, I was involved in that process. I was involved in that transition from Native Child and Family Services coming into Native Child and Family Services of Toronto Corporation. I was part of that transition. I worked for Native Child. And you know what? It's ironic, but I remember Catherine. I remember her, that young girl that was there. I remembered her. And I didn't realize it right away, but when I got to do the Zoom meeting with her after the fact, I listened and I realized that I remembered her from back in 2004. So it's just, we all understand that Canada will never stop, but we have a way to stop it. We're taking this case to the ICC. ICC is called the International Criminal Court.
100%.
Our case is in. They tried to trick us in the news, and they tried to say, "Oh no, you can't take that to the courts." But the problem is they're saying 12 lawyers had just recently applied to the ICC, and they can't go any farther because for the simple fact that they included the Vatican. The ICC has no jurisdiction over the Vatican. So they cannot, that case won't go through. Our case will. Our case will. Our case is already in. We got a receipt that they've received it. We have the prosecutor who was just
Ascended. Karim Khan. You guys look it up on YouTube. It's real.
Khan, he is now the prosecutor. He has our case in his hands, and if you heard his speech when he was ascended, he's ready to take these cases on. Canada is illegal in its colonialism. Canada is wrong. They should never have done any of this. Canada is doing this because they want our land, simply for our land. And how would they get it? They always target our children. Always.
Through genocide, clear genocide.
Is the new way. Apparently now there are 200 Native Child and Family Services since 2004. That first transition, that first time that this was created. We're going to do something. We are here to give you hope. We're not lying to you, and we're going to do this with or without you. It's done. It's completely done. They will no longer take our children. They will no longer be able to use this colonialism system on our people and all of Canada. We are going to fight, and I ask that you come and join with me. Put your name to the case, add your name to the case. This is real, and I really hope that you stand with me and back me up here because this is for our children.
We've taken.
You don't want us anymore.
We've taken 2 of those law firms.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Right on, Tina. Awesome job. That was wicked. Hey, everybody. That was pretty good. Say hi to Tina.
I left my purse.
Oops. Now you get to see me. Well done, Tina. That was awesome. Okay, everybody.
Share their stories and join our movement here to bring our children home. So I invite anyone who
Do you think they'd mind if I spoke?
I'm gonna ask.
Yeah. Do you think it'd be okay if I spoke a few words? Would you guys mind? Is that okay? Thank you. Thank you. Hello everybody, my name's Dave Bjorkman. I'm from Alberta. I came to Ontario to do a monumental amount of work in federal politics. I ran for Premier of Alberta in 2019. I came in 4th place. I've been working with First Nations beyond any other Canadian white guy in the history of Canada. That's a fact. What I can guarantee you is the 4 years of work I've done with the ICC and UNSCP-5, which is the United Nations Security Council, specifically the 5 allies from World War II. I have gone to all of them many times, many letters, 4 years of solid work. Most of it has been, honestly, for the Treaty First Nations back in the West. I'm very unfamiliar. I know of unceded and ceded land. I know of BC. I know of Ontario, Quebec, and Atlantic provinces. However, it was chased out of there or eradicated. That is true. What's been phenomenal is 6 Nations, the education I've got, just in Ontario here, all the way to BC now. I can guarantee you I've taken 2 of those law firms. We have over 1,600 names on a letter to that ICC. They received it. We're going to bring everybody on board. We need you all. This is about the whole people and the new people. We can do this together and bring down this system. More than that, I can promise you all here right today, for $3, I can take this to a court right in Ottawa with all of you who want to. We can sue Queen Elizabeth II. I can prove to you all, as I've already done this, and I'll show you how to do it. It's very simple. 1 day's amount of work with your names, $3. And we'll drag Doug Ford's ass out, and it will be the Deputy Attorney of Ontario who has to answer for this right here. Tina went through, there are 200 organizations. Why is that now? Do you know why that is? It's the federal government pawned it off to each and every province and territory. So now, because there are no constitutions of any province, they know First Nations use smudge and song. I'm working hard to educate all of the boat people, the white Canadians, that don't understand that system of smudge and song. They're bamboozled too. We all sing "O Canada." Did you know that in our written laws, which is the Constitution Act of Canada, the only real law that people have, because there are no regional ones. You have the 1967 Constitutional Act, a written document on rules of governance, how to govern, and accountability. And guess what? It's all Crown, taken as Tina went through in 1952, post King George VI's death. He had Governor General and all Lieutenant Governors for Her Majesty, which was him, King George. His daughter ascended when he died. They removed all United Kingdom from Canada. Never told First Nations, never told a Canadian, but I can prove it all to you right now. Google 1952 and prior. Every Governor General of Canada was all appointed by Her Majesty at the time, by the Crown, were absolutely United Kingdom Crown. They were, you look at it. From King George VI onward, never again. All appointed by Prime Minister, who is the Crown. And they've never told anyone this. It's been alive in Canada since 1952. Since the Allies mandated UK, along with Germany, who was a colonial, France, who was a colonial, Spain was a colonial, Italy was a colonial, Portuguese was a colonial, Denmark was a colonial. You can look, World War I and II were wars of colonials. Russia, USA, China ended all that. UK, France were devastated by another colonial, the Axis powers, who were all colonials. They were warring colonials. They destroyed UK. UK held 85 countries in its mighty, mighty armada of colonized countries. And they had to give it all up. That's what the Allies said. You want to be at P5, you will give it up. And they did. King George honored it. He worked for 9 solid years until his death. I have Winston Churchill's letter from 1941, no Canadians ever seen in their life. I hold it in my possession, as I have even the greatest experts in the world who hold the Magna Carta, which is supposed to be a founding document of what Canada is. There's only 4 left in this world. A great friend of mine on the world stage holds 2 of them, all for all you to look. For 900 years, the crown has never worked. Constitutional monarchies don't work because the kings, the politicians, take their rights and decide what you get. They take human rights. We have human rights in Ontario. Why do we have that? Human rights are on the world stage, but not for countries to administer. They're to follow. There's binding world law. First Nations understand this. It goes beyond your smudge and song. There is a law beyond Canada that Canada is grossly violated, and they're going to be brought to justice. I promise you, every provincial politician in the history up till now, and every federal politician up to now from before, will be brought to justice through the ICC. Much like what we saw with Nazi Germany, we've heard of the Hague, we've seen what happened, and it still goes on today. Just in November, they sentenced the 96-year-old German for another Holocaust war crime and family. They will do this here in Canada, and they will continue for as many years as it takes. And that's what we're doing. I've worked on this for 4 years. I'm a third-class citizen who's done first-class things for Canada. No media is going to cover it, but I have done more than most will ever even dream of. And I promise you, I'm going to deliver for the First Nations. That's my promise today. Come on board. Send an email, Bjorkman at gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook. I'm building the next political vehicle for the 2023 election. It's the low people, the community people. Eventually, the first time the First Nations have ever been put on a platform. It's going to be real. Together, how it should have been settled claims, self-government, self-determination. 4/5 of Canada. Taken from everybody. First Nations, the purer your blood, the less you got. That's the history and the current goal of Canada. They're going to give administered for the French. That's what they've done unilaterally. This is what the white system is, and that's colonial too. France was colonial. It's against world law. I'm going to show you all this. I promise this to you. And if you all come with me, I'll even do the $3 suit of Queen Elizabeth II in Ottawa. With all of you here today, I guarantee you Doug Ford's ass comes out and his deputy minister comes out to answer. Whether we win or lose against Crown, we always lose. That's why I do the ICC next, because that's the real one. But I will prove to every First Nation and every Canadian, Queen Elizabeth II will not come for suit. She's not allowed. It will be absolutely Doug Ford, his deputy minister. How would I know that? And that's what I tell you. It's absolutely true. Thank you. That was good. Well, that's it, everybody. Share, share, share. It's real.